All right, so today we're going deep on the iPhone 16e.
Apple's latest and greatest, right?
Yeah, their new, budget-friendly option.
Right.
We're actually basing this whole deep dive on one of our own Review Hub articles.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's called iPhone 16e versus Other iPhone Models, a family feud worth watching.
Catchy.
So, if you're thinking about maybe getting a new iPhone,
Hmm.
or just like to keep up with what's new and hot in tech,
Always fun.
this is the deep dive for you.
For sure. So, what's the deal with this 16E?
Well, it's all about, value.
Value. Okay.
It starts at $599.
That's not bad at all, especially for a new iPhone.
Right. But of course, the question is,
What did they have to, sacrifice to get to that price point?
exactly. And is it worth it, for you,
Right.
the listener? We got to think about the listener.
Always.
So we're going to pit this 16e against its siblings, so to speak.
Ooh, a family throwdown.
Yeah, like we've got the iPhone 16,
Okay.
which is $200 more expensive.
Oof.
Then we'll look at the 15, which is still kicking around out there.
Mm-hmm.
And even the 14, even though it's been discontinued.
Wow, a real battle royale.
It is. So before we get into the nitty-gritty,
Yeah.
I think it's important to, think about what you want in a phone.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, what are your priorities?
Yeah, like battery life, camera, that super smooth display.
Oh, those things.
Got to figure out what matters most.
So first up, 16e versus the 16.
Okay, bring it on.
Interestingly, they actually both have the A18 chip.
Oh, wow. So that's Apple's newest processor, right?
Yes, the latest and greatest.
So are they basically the same phone then?
Well, not quite. The 16e has one less GPU core.
Ah, okay. Now, for our listeners who aren't like super techie,
Right.
what does that actually mean?
So a GPU core is like a little mini processor,
Okay.
specifically for graphics.
Okay.
So, when you're playing games, watching videos,
Gotcha. So does that mean the 16E is like way slower?
Not necessarily if you're mostly browsing the web,
Right.
social media, casual gaming,
Mm-hmm.
probably won't notice much difference. But if you're like a hardcore gamer,
Okay. Yeah.
need the absolute best performance,
Yeah. Yeah.
then, maybe the 16 is worth the extra cash.
Makes sense.
But here's a twist. The 16e actually has better battery life.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, we're talking 26 hours of video playback
Wow.
versus 22 on the 16.
So you could like binge watch a whole season of something on one charge?
Pretty much.
That's impressive, especially for the cheaper model.
I know, right? But of course, there's a trade-off.
There always is, isn't there?
The 16e doesn't support MagSafe charging.
Ah, okay. So no magnetic wireless charging.
Right.
That's a tough one.
It is. What's more important to you?
Right.
Extra battery or the MagSafe convenience?
Decisions.
Okay, let's talk displays.
All right.
The 16e's display is a tad less bright,
Okay.
and it still has the notch.
Ugh, the notch.
Yeah, why the 16 has that fancy dynamic island.
Oh, yeah, that's that pill-shaped cutout, right?
Yep, that blends in with the software and stuff.
It's pretty sleek.
It is very futuristic.
I feel like some people really hate the notch,
They do.
but others don't even notice it.
True.
So it's really a matter of personal preference.
Exactly. But that dynamic island is definitely, more modern.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, what about cameras?
Ah, yes, the cameras. Gotta have good cameras these days.
For sure. So the 16E boasts a 48 megapixel main camera.
Whoa.
Yeah, so super detailed photos.
Nice.
And it even has a 2x telephoto lens.
So you can zoom in without losing quality?
Exactly.
That's a big step up from previous models.
It is, but here's the catch.
Always a catch.
It doesn't have an ultra-wide lens,
Ah, man.
which the 16 does have.
Okay, so for our listeners,
Mm-hmm.
remind us why ultra-wide is so great.
So it lets you capture a much wider field of view.
Right. Perfect for landscapes, group photos,
Or just fitting more in when you're in a tight space.
Exactly. So think about how you use your camera.
Yeah, good point.
Do you take a lot of wide shots?
Right.
Or are you mostly doing portraits and close-ups?
It's all about understanding what features you'll actually use.
Totally. So far, we've got the 16e rocking that awesome battery life,
Mhm.
but no MagSafe or ultra-wide lens.
Right.
And the 16, it's got those things, but the battery isn't as good.
Interesting. Okay, so where do the 15 and 14 fit into all of this?
Ah, yes, the older siblings. We'll get into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Can't wait.
All right, so we talked about the 16e and the 16, but what about a phone 15? It's still out there,
Yeah, still kicking around.
and it's $100 more expensive than the 16e.
Interesting.
It's got the A16 chip.
Which, let's see, that was in last year's 16 Pro, right?
Yep, so still a pretty powerful phone.
Yeah, definitely no slouch, but
Yeah.
it's not the E18,
Right.
And the battery life's 20 hours.
Which is decent.
Decent, but remember the 16E gets 26.
Big difference.
Huge. So with the 15, you're basically paying more for less power and less battery.
It seems that way. So does it have anything going for it?
Well, it does have that dynamic island.
Right, which the 16E doesn't.
And MagSafe charging.
Yeah, sure. So maybe for some people, those features are worth the trade-off.
Could be. What about the cameras?
Ah, yes. The 15 has a dual 12-megapixel system,
Dual 12, okay.
and the 16E has that single 48-megapixel.
So is it better to have more megapixels or more lenses?
That's a good question.
It's like, what do you want, quality or versatility?
Right. I mean, more megapixels generally means more detail.
Yeah, but then you don't get that ultra-wide option with the 16E.
Yeah, you lose that wider field of view.
Yeah, gotta weigh those options.
For sure. So the 15 might be good for someone who really wants that dynamic island and MagSafe.
And doesn't mind sacrificing a little on battery and processing power.
But overall, it seems like the 16E is just a better value.
Newer chip, longer battery, higher resolution camera.
And one more thing.
Oh.
The 16E has USB-C.
Ah, right. Apple's finally ditching the Lightning port.
They are, and the 16E is one of the first to make the switch.
So for you, the listener, that means the 16E is more,
Future-proof.
Exact.
USB-C is becoming the standard.
Pretty much everything uses it now.
So it's good to have a phone that's already on board with that.
For sure.
All right, now for the wild card. The iPhone 14.
The discontinued one.
Yep, but you could probably still find it out there.
Okay, so how does this stack up against the 16E?
Not very well, to be honest.
Oh.
It's got the A15 chip.
2 generations behind.
Yeah, and the Lightning port, shorter battery life, lower resolution camera.
Oof. Yeah, starting to show its age a little.
It is. Okay, one more phone to consider.
Okay, hit me.
The iPhone 15 Pro.
Ah, yes, the powerhouse.
We touched on it earlier, but it's worth a closer look.
Definitely. So the 15 Pro, it's got the A17 Pro chip.
Step up from the regular 15.
Yep. And a triple camera system.
Triple, wow.
Telephoto, ultra-wide, and LiDAR scanner.
WiDAR, what's that for again?
Augmented reality, mostly.
Oh, right. So this phone is pretty top of the line.
It is, but of course.
It comes with a price tag.
Yeah, it's significantly more expensive than the 16E.
So probably not for the budget conscious.
Right, you're paying for those premium features.
But if you want the best of the best.
It's definitely worth considering.
So, listener, think about it. Do you need the absolute best camera and the fastest processor?
Or are you looking for something more balanced,
Features and affordability.
Exactly. It all comes down to what you need and what you're willing to spend.
We've laid out all the options here.
Now it's up to you to decide which iPhone wins this family feud.
And remember, this is just a starting point.
You can always dive deeper on Review Hub.
We've got tons of articles and reviews.
All the info you need to make an informed decision.
Exactly. So, what are your thoughts? Which iPhone are you leaning towards?
What features are must-haves for you? Let us know.
All right, so we've pretty much gone through, all the contenders in this iPhone family feud.
We have. It's quite the lineup.
It is. So just to recap, we've got the 16E, our budget champ.
Amazing battery life.
Yeah, 26 hours. Can't beat that.
Touch to beat, for sure.
Then we've got the 16, kind of like the well-rounded one.
Got that dynamic island, MagSafe charging.
All the bells and whistles. Then there's the 15, still a solid phone.
Definitely, but maybe not the best value at this point.
Especially with the 16E on the scene. And, of course, we talked about the 14.
Yeah, that's its heart.
Yeah, it's had its day. And then, of course, there's the the big dog.
The 15 Pro.
Yeah, the powerhouse if you want the absolute best.
And you've got the budget for it.
Exactly. So, listener, now it's decision time.
What are you looking for in a phone?
Yeah, like what are your must-haves?
Do you need the best camera, the fastest processor?
Or just a phone that, gets the job done?
And think about your budget, too. The 16E is super affordable.
It is. Great value for the price.
But if you can spend a bit more, you get those nice upgrades with the 16.
Or even the 15 Pro if you really want to go all out.
Right, but it all comes down to, what works for you.
Finding that perfect balance. Features, performance, price.
The sweet spot.
And remember, we're here to help at Review Hub.
That's what we do.
So if you're still not sure which iPhone to pick,
check out our article.
Yeah, the one we used for this deep dive.
It's called,
iPhone 16e versus other iPhone models. A family feud worth watching.
We break down all the specs, the features, everything.
Plus, we've got user reviews in there too.
Real people, real opinions.
So you can get the full picture.
And the link is in the show notes. Easy to find.
All right, so tell us, what are you thinking?
Yeah, which iPhone are you leaning towards now?
What are your must-have features?
Join the conversation. Let us know.
Yeah, hit us up on social media. Use the hashtag the deep dive.
We love hearing from you guys.
All right, that's it for this deep dive.
Until next time.
Keep diving deep.